Thanks for tuning in to the Football Talk Squadron. I'm Dutch, and this is our conference championship episodes on the Football Talk Squadron. Maul and Pops are both out for tonight, so it's just me solo. I do have their picks for the game, so I will be able to talk a little bit about that. I was down at Maul's house actually this past weekend watching the divisional round and watching the national championship in college, so picked his brain a bunch, so I'll be able to provide a little bit of insight into what we were both talking about going into this weekend for the games. So big thing in terms of the divisional games, I'll start off there and then we'll go into the conference championship games just since there's only 2 games this weekend. So first game that's coming on is New England Denver. So New England goes against the Texans, and when you think about New England's path to the AFC championship game, you couldn't ask for, if you're a Patriots fan, you really got to be lucky. You take on the Chargers, who really had an offensive line that was, if you want to say hodgepodge at best, that would be generous. I would put it almost at the collegiate level in terms of offensive line, and it showed throughout the entirety of that game. Then last week, you deal with C.J. Stroud, who, yes, they played an amazing defense, but if I can point out one thing about C.J. Stroud, and Pop said it best, I thought it was just one of these perfect answers by him last week when I said, hey, what's it going to take for the Texans to get the win against the Patriots? And he said, Stroud, that's it. And that turned out to be the answer, but not in a good way, in a very bad way for the Texans. They struggled mightily. Stroud especially, off target, making poor decisions, unable to move the ball downfield. And that defense played its heart out at the beginning. But you could just tell that not only did the time on the field wear on them, but the offensive inefficiencies, it just drove the defense to just, eventually it broke. It was sort of, I mean, it was sad to see from the Texans, just from how well they played, how many opportunities they gave their offense to get not only back in the game, but just take control of the game. The Texans had every opportunity, couldn't make it happen due to horrific quarterback play out of C.J. Stroud. And then this weekend, they're going against Denver, who is without Bo Nix because he broke his ankle in the last series against the Bills in overtime, which we'll talk about here in a minute. From the Patriots standpoint, the biggest thing that I can say going into this game is the offense inefficiencies for the Patriots have to be alarming. Do I think it's going to make a difference in this game? Probably not. The only thing that I think really will stick out in terms of their offensive inefficiencies, if it was to be a contributing factor in this game, which it hasn't been from the past 2, is that if they turn the ball over and the defense has to score. That's what we haven't seen happen against the Patriots. The Chargers couldn't do a pick six or fumble recovery, and neither could the Texans. Those 2 things have to happen, I think, for Denver in order to really stay competitive, unless Jared Stidham just comes out and balls out like Nick Foles. That's, I say that because he tweeted, the Patriots have shown in the past troubles with a backup quarterback. New England's offense looks rough. There's no way that Drake May is the MVP. If he is, it's a sham. And I say that because when you watch these games against better defenses, it's clear he's not the most accurate guy in the world. It's also clear that a lot of the passes are meant to be 10 yards and less. That is what Drake May has succeeded on. Can he complete a good deep ball? Yeah, absolutely. But from the standpoint of him being just this dynamic quarterback that can stretch the field, any throw, anywhere, he's just tearing it up. No, that's not who Drake May is. Their offense is really established behind the run. As long as Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson can gain some yards, it really helps their offense on the perimeter in terms of just wide receivers, dink and dunk throws. That's what the Patriots have lived on. On the opposite side, I will say the Patriots defense is very good. They are not to the level, in my opinion, of the Broncos, of the Texans, of even the Chargers or Seattle. I don't see their defense lining up to that. Even the Rams defensive line, I think, the Rams defense is the closest to the Patriots, mainly because I think that the Rams this year have underperformed based upon what we see on paper, but they're still a good defense, if that makes any sense. The Patriots have probably the best corner in pro football right now with Gonzalez, and he would have followed Nico Collins around the entire game if Nico had played. Yet again, as I talked about, this unbelievably lucky path the Patriots have been on, that not only do they go against a really poor playing CJ Stroud, but they also go against the Texans without their number one wide receiver, and it showed throughout the entirety of the game. Their defense plays fundamentally sound football. You can't ask for anything else. Like, they are going to make plays when they need to make plays, but overall they are, I don't want to say limited, but they do have the ability to give up plays. There are plays to be made against this defense, but you have to play well in order to make those plays. We just haven't seen anyone that they've played so far be able to do that, especially with the offensive line play, or, as in the last game with the Texans, just pure quarterback play wasn't there to be able to pick apart the defense. When you take a look at the Patriots' regular season schedule, there's multiple games that they've had teams score on them. It's been close games. You have to find a way to do that. We haven't seen anyone get close so far. On the opposite end, Denver, number one seed last week, going against Buffalo. Me and Maul are split on this. And for me, it was a catch by Brandon Cooks. When you watch the replay, I believe that he has control. The knee hits, and there's multiple still images available that have been floating around the internet that show, the defender, his hands are down by the body, but Brandon Cooks is literally laying on the ground and the ball's still with him. Then the defender, he keeps fighting for it, good on the defender, and the ball comes free, and the defender gets it. Now, Maul's position on this is, well, if the defender wasn't there and Brandon Cooks rolled over and the ball popped out, would it be a completion or incompletion? And we all would say it'd be an incompletion. You have to maintain control through the ground. But I sit back and I go, well, the defender's pulling at it. So how long does the defender get to pull at the football until it's a catch and not a fumble? And you go, well, that depends. And that, to me, is the problem, is the subjectivity of when does the receiver have control and when they do not. Sorry, excuse me. Getting choked up thinking about these horrific calls. Because I say that, in the Rams game against the Bears, you have Devontae Adams, who catches a pass and is going to the ground. Knees hit the ground. He has possession of the ball. Knee hits the ground. Defender gets the ball loose. They go to replay and rule he was down by contact. It's first down. Well, if the ball's free and he didn't maintain possession and going to the ground, should it not be an incomplete pass? Because that, to me, is the difference in the Broncos game. If the Bills hit that pass, they are in field goal range, they're going to win the game. They're going to win the game. There's no not convince me. And then the other point, regardless of the fumble, the catch, any of that, it was clear pass interference. Clear pass interference. the thing that I get so mad about right now is that refs they are not calling the flags equally throughout the game. If you're not going to call it then please don't call it on the last drive of the game. Because by doing that, you take away the integrity of the game. I have no problem if you want to throw the flag on the Bills as they did, as long as it was equally reciprocated on the previous drive. But if they had done that, the game would have been over. The fumble wouldn't count it. It would have been Buffalo's ball right then. And then if you go back another series, before overtime, Josh is throwing a sideline pass in the end zone to Brandon Cooks, and the defender clearly has his arm held. It is pass interference. Period. Just as a side note, I do want to throw that out there because me and Maul were talking about it. If there's one thing that we have, you want to talk about Chris Collinsworth and all the other announcers that sort of annoy you. The one thing that's got to go is this go-to ref that they speak to. I am so sick and tired of hearing a guy that is just a league advocate for the ref. I don't want to hear the exact same opinion. And then they contradict themselves. You literally have guys get on and be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Based upon what I'm seeing here, I think it's going to be this. And then they go to replay, and it's not that. And it'll come out, and he'll be like, yeah, I can actually see how that, this is a good call by them based upon what we're seeing here. And it's like, but no one sits back and be like, you literally didn't say that 15 seconds ago. Same thing with the pass interference. He literally was like, it's a good no call at that same point. It is either pass interference or it's not pass interference. That's the problem. Because when you hit, this guy is a ref in a previous life, in terms of just a few years ago, he was calling NFL games. And so that to me is the perfect example. Here is a guy that's not calling the flag at that point. But then later in the game, he's like, I agree with it. And you sit back and you're like, this is the problem that we have. It is either a flag all the time or it's none of the time. But you can't pick and choose at what moments in the game do you choose to pull the yellow flag out of your pants. That has got to change. The refs are a problem. I think about it even with the Super Bowl and the Eagles. It's like, was it a hold or at least a legal contact down the field? Yes, but you didn't call it like that throughout the rest of the game. Don't call it then. Don't call it then. You don't call it during Hail Marys, even though there's clear pass interference on a Hail Mary most of the time. They don't call it. Why? Who knows? It's still pass interference. I think that's why they took the rule out of the book for the review, because they understood that more times than not, coaches were going to challenge that, and it was going to be in their favor, and it was going to highlight the negativity of the refs, and the NFL doesn't want the refs questioned. It's like umpires with baseball. They just it doesn't matter how bad they are, they'll just throw out whoever's challenging them because you can't challenge the system. It's a problem. Now that I got that out of the way, for the Broncos, did they play offensively pretty well? Absolutely. You really have to give Sean Payton credit for what he did with Bo Nix in order to get them down the field multiple times, in order to tie the game, take the shots. They made the plays that they need to in order to get a win. It's just a killer that Bo Nix gets hurt. I have no idea what you're going to see out of Jared Stidham. No idea. History says, outside of Nick Foles, that the offense isn't going to be as in sync as you might think. Why? This guy has not gotten number one wide receiver reps. Throughout the majority of the year, it's been Bo Nix. Bo's been the one throwing, not Jared. So he has to develop that timing with the guys. Does Jared know the playbook? Absolutely. Does Jared know the other guys on the team? Absolutely. This isn't like some walk-on coming in. But from a standpoint of, is he going to be able to go against New England and really not make any mistakes and make them pay for anything that they do during the game that gives him an opportunity to make a score? It's unlikely. It's just unlikely. That's why the story of Nick Foles is great, just because of how unlikely it was that he would come into the game and do it. The other thing with Nick Foles is he was a pretty seasoned vet. Now, I will say, Jared Stidham was playing when Tom Brady was still a quarterback. He's been in the league for a little bit, so it wouldn't surprise me to see the Broncos get some points on the board. The real question is can the Broncos defense rise to the occasion? Can they rise to the occasion? Can they force turnovers? And really, can they just get some points on the board themselves? If they can, I think they have a real shot in the game. But if the defense can't rise to the occasion and help the offense, it's going to be a long day for the Broncos. Then on the opposite side, you got Seattle, who just absolutely murders San Francisco. I mean, I haven't seen a beating like that in a while in a divisional game, which was very unexpected. I had San Francisco in the game. Side note, I picked all 4 of these games wrong, so heads up with my picks this weekend. Who knows how that's going to look. I just really thought that San Fran, based upon how they played with the Eagles, you saw the offense, you saw the defense. I go, I think they're going to come out and give Seattle the game. And then opening kickoff, it buried the Niners. And then they turned it over. Immediate points thereafter. And the thing for Seattle that they did well, dude, they put their foot on their throats. Every opportunity that you thought this is a chance for San Fran to come out and get the game closer, couldn't make it happen. Seattle kept scoring. They kept opening the lead, and it was just over. I mean, they ran the ball well. Sam Darnold threw the ball well. Defense played exceptional. I mean, as of right now, with the 4 teams jerseys behind me, you have to sit back and go, Seattle has the best defense in the playoffs right now of the teams remaining. They look very dominant. And Sam Darnold's playing well. We saw this all last year with the Vikings play exceptionally well up until the last game, and then when they got into the playoffs, and everyone wrote him off. And right now, Sam Darnold's playing lights out. You can't ask for anything better than what he did in that game for Seattle. They look the part of being a number 1 seed. Then you get the Rams, who go into Chicago, and hats off to him. Because when Caleb made that throw on 4th down, I think a lot of teams would have probably folded and just been like, dude, this is just not our night. They came out and made the plays they needed to in order to win the game. They get the interception on Caleb Williams, who, by the way, that was DJ Moore quitting on a route, which we've seen multiple times this year, DJ not giving the level that he needs to. For the amount of money they're paying him, for the picks they gave up for him, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for DJ Moore to play like that. If Pops was on here, I guarantee you one thing he would say, if there's any benefit that came out of that play, it's that DJ Moore is probably going to be gone this offseason, which I agree with. When you take a look at Rome Odunze and Luther Burden, who's really played well, they don't need DJ Moore. They don't need him out there. They can happily ship him off, and they can go get someone else. I think that they could easily trade him and possibly get rid of Cole Kmet, maybe go get David Njoku from Cleveland. DJ Moore would fit in perfectly on that Cleveland roster with the lack of talent. David's a baller, and you think about him and Loveland out there, that'd be great for the Bears. They need to find, or even better for the Bears, is to get rid of DJ and go get defensive help. It was clear they needed more pass rush, and they did a good job of getting to Matt Stafford until the end, until overtime. It was too much, too little, too late. There at the end, they had an opportunity with Caleb. Pick happens. Matt Stafford does Matt Stafford things, took him down the field and won. The thing with the Rams, excuse me, that you have to sit back and look at is their offense, since being in the playoffs, has really been hitting a mess. And it's not as bad as C.J. Stroud with the Texans' performance or the Chargers with Herbert. It's more just we've seen the Rams' offense at full potency, and we have not got a glimpse of it since. Only scored 17 in regulation against the Bears. It was 17-10 up until Caleb threw that, glorious pass in the end zone. They couldn't. The Bears got absolutely steamrolled by Purdy just a few weeks ago. the same Purdy that got absolutely blasted by Seattle and offense couldn't move at all and shut down their team. I just sort of sit back and look for the Rams and go, this is sort of back-to-back weeks against the Panthers and against the Bears, that two defenses that I really thought that you should have been able to handle a lot more efficiently haven't seen it. It's worrisome going into the game for the Rams. The good news for the Rams is you got Matt Stafford. That's the gem. And Seattle has Sam Darnold. Has Sam played better than Matt during the playoffs? Yes. However, from a standpoint of if you were sitting back betting your house, hey, who do you think is going to have the better game and who would have the worse? Odds tell you Matt will have the better game and Sam Darnold will have the worser game. We're going to find out. Taking a look at the line for the game right now, as I pull it up. Seattle right now is -2.5. New England's 5.5 over the Broncos. Right now, from the other guys, in terms of their picks, we've got Maul, who is going to go Seattle in the Seattle Rams game, and then Pops is actually going with the Rams. I would love to sit back and tell you that Matt Stafford rides off in the sunset and gets it done. This is, to me, probably one of the best defenses he's going to face. The good news is he's done this before, twice this season. He's seen this team. These NFC West matchups they're lights out. I don't care who plays who. They usually are very good. Outside of last week's game where Seattle dominated the Niners. My concern is Matt Stafford's gotten a lot of pressure. I think Seattle is going to do everything they can to get to Stafford. Blitz, do whatever. They're going to make him uncomfortable in the pocket as the Bears did. Can they overcome that? That stadium is going to be rocking. Between Seattle and Kansas City in the playoffs, there's really not too tough a place in terms of crowd noise to play at than those two. And Seattle probably has the edge in terms of crowd noise with the stadium design. It's incredibly loud. I sit back and look at the game. This is the vibe that I'm getting. It's much like Miami for Seattle in terms of the Hurricanes. They have Carson Beck, who had played very, very well up until the national championship last play of the game. He had made the plays, hadn't made mistakes. You kept waiting for him to have this blow up. Didn't happen. Gets all the way to 90. It wasn't until the last play of the game. Sam, I think, is sort of following on the same path. I think Sam has a good game. I don't see him having a bad last play. I think Seattle wins comfortably against the Rams because of their defense, and I think we'll see Sam really have to live up or die in the Super Bowl on the grandest stage. If that's the time where the pressure is going to be the loudest, it will be in the Super Bowl for Sam Darnold. I like Seattle at home being the number one seed to take down the Rams. Then on the other side, you got Broncos-Pats. Heads up, everyone's taking the Pats. Why? Because the Broncos don't have their starting quarterback. And even if they did, I think that it would still probably be New England favored just because Bo Nix, did he play well against the Bills? Yes. The Bills don't have a good defense. We knew that going into it. The difference for the Pats in this game is, what are you going to see out of Stidham? That's the magic question. And history tells us that the majority of the times the backup is just incapable of getting it done. That's the honest truth. That's why we are all picking New England in this game. At no point do you sort of sit back and go, man, what would it take? It's going to take Stidham to play flawlessly in terms of no turnovers and be able to at least get points on the board. You've got to go down and score. I would say for the Broncos to have a realistic chance, they need to get to at least 20 points. If they can get to 20 based upon how their defense plays, they have a very good chance of winning this game. But I think if it stays in the teens or less, it's New England's game all day. that's just where I'm at with this game. So me, Maul, and Pops all taking New England for the game. I know that a little bit into it, only 24 minutes in, but that does wrap up the conference championship episodes. We are going to get this out to you guys tonight, going into Thursday morning for us, and then we'll see the games this Sunday. I do want to thank you for tuning in to the Football Talk Squadron. After the conference championships, we'll preview the Super Bowl matchup. We'll try to get all three of us on, and that way we get a full Super Bowl preview going into Super Bowl weekend. Do want to thank you for tuning in. It is time to pull chalks. We'll see you guys next time.